This video is brought to you by Voice, a group dedicated to informing you on international news. Hi, I'm Annabelle.
And I'm David, and we're Voice. Today we're going to be talking about Ukraine, the case of the missing Malaysian plane, as well as Bitcoin. So Annabelle, what's happening in Ukraine?
Glad you asked. If you haven't been able to keep up with what's going on in Eastern Europe lately, then know that World War III has not broken out. But you should know that this event is one of the most interesting things that have happened in East-West relations since the Cold War. In a nutshell, protests started in Ukraine a few months ago, and this led to the removal of the Ukrainian president in February. If you'd like more information, check out our previous video. Since then, Russia has stepped in. Russia's military has occupied and since annexed a region in the Ukraine called Crimea. Here are a few things that are important to know about Crimea. First, most Crimeans consider themselves ethnically Russian, and Russian is their first language. In a recent referendum that is disputed, more than 90% of Crimeans said that they supported joining Russia. Number two, Russia has formally annexed the region. According to Russia, Crimea is now Russian territory. Not everyone sees it this way. And lastly, Ukraine has essentially surrendered the territory and has removed their troops.
But why do we care?
Well, it's not every day that a country seizes another country's territory. The role for the United States and the rest of the world is in question as well. Do we have a role in this conflict or not? What do you think? That was all on the Ukraine. Now, for the case of the missing Malaysian plane.
So let me tell you what I do know, which is that it started in point A, Malaysia, heading north to point B, Beijing, China. And what we can figure out is, at some point about 40 minutes into the flight, it veered left into the Indian Ocean. Not really sure whether it north or south or... I don't know, people say, oh, maybe it's resting, maybe it's hiding. No one really knows. Recent leads have been led to Australia, the southern part of the Indian Ocean, right about here. But those have been found unsubstantial, and people were thinking, oh, maybe Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, but I don't know, those have kind of flailed out too. So basically what we do know is that there's 239 people on this flight, that it's a Boeing 777, and that we don't know where the hell it is. Okay, so now for the fun part. There have been plenty of conspiracies circulating. Just Google missing Malaysian plane on the internet and you will find tons to fill your time. So first we have the two passports, right? And by this I mean there were two passengers aboard the plane that were carrying stolen passports. And this began to raise questions of terrorism and things like that. But this has since been nixed, saying that they were in fact refugees seeking asylum. Two, we've got the cell phones. Cell phones were found ringing. Family members would be calling their lost loved ones on the plane, and they would be getting a ring dial connection. Telecommunication companies have since found this false, saying that this does not necessarily mean that the phones are in working condition. Let's see, was the plane, I don't know, hijacked? Was it stolen? Did it crash? Some people have even said, I don't know, maybe it was aliens. Not really sure. UFO. Point is, we really have no idea where this plane is. In all seriousness, for the loved ones of people on this missing plane, know that you're in our thoughts and we hope that you can find more substantial evidence soon.
And now let's move on to Bitcoin. If you had not heard, Bitcoin is the internet's newest currency. How this works is that it's called a cryptocurrency in the sense that it's not backed by anything or it doesn't really exist in anyone's wallet. So unlike the US dollar, which you actually have bills off and is backed by your federal government, Bitcoin only exists in the internet. The way that Bitcoin works is that you have miners. Miners have computers that solve complex mathematical puzzles in order to produce a certain defined amount of Bitcoins, of which there are a limited amount of. So for example, in the future there will be a total of 21 million Bitcoins available to everyone on the internet, and computers will just keep mining them until you reach that point. So there's actually a finite amount of Bitcoin available for everyone. And so from here on out, people will continue to produce Bitcoin and mine it until they reach the limited amount of Bitcoin that there is. So the important thing to remember about this new currency is that unlike the US dollar and many other coins around the world, which is regulated by these guys, or these guys, or these guys, Bitcoin is regulated by these guys. Whenever you buy Bitcoin, remember that the fluctuation of prices is really great. So one day Bitcoin might be worth $100 and then another day it might be worth $500. So when you go buying Bitcoin, don't go crazy and spend all your life savings, because there's a great bubble and that might burst someday.
that was the rundown. Thanks for watching. We started these videos because we wanted to help people stay informed on international issues.
And now that we covered everything that we had, we'd like to hear your opinion. Please like and subscribe to this video if you have anything to say, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter if you have any other comments.